On this planet, love is decided by combat, and the most feared woman alive was just forced to marry the one man she wanted dead the most. The ground was still humming beneath him when he forced his eyes open. For a moment, he forgot where he was. The air tasted wrong, sharp and metallic, and the sky above him burned in unfamiliar shades of violet and bronze. Two suns hovered like unblinking eyes, watching his every breath. Then pain returned. His ribs felt fractured. Every inhale was fire. A shadow fell over his face. "Do not move," a woman's voice said, low, controlled, dangerous. He tried to focus on her. She wasn't human. Not entirely. Her skin carried a faint silver sheen, marked with swirling lines that looked part tattoo, part scar. Armor forged from bone and metal clung to her tall, powerful frame. And in her hands, drawn tight against a bow carved from something that had once been alive, was an arrow aimed precisely at his heart. He could see it pulsing faintly, as if the weapon itself was breathing. "If you flinch," she added, "I won't miss the second time." A crooked breath escaped him. Half laugh, half pain. "Is this the local greeting?" Her eyes narrowed, sharp, intelligent, filled with fury. "You fell through our sky," she said. "That alone is an offense." He shifted slightly and instantly regretted it as agony ripped through his side. Still, he forced the words out. "Believe me, I didn't aim for your front yard." That earned him no mercy. The arrow pressed harder against his chest. Around them, the sand began to stir. Figures rose from the dunes, silent, watchful, armed. Warriors. Dozens of them. Their gazes were not curious. They were calculating. Then an older woman stepped forward, her posture calm but authoritative. Age had not weakened her. It had sharpened her. "He caught your arrow," she said, studying the man on the ground. The warrior woman froze, just for a heartbeat. "That is impossible," she whispered. "And yet," the elder replied, her eyes never leaving his, "it happened." The air shifted. Murmurs passed through the warriors like wind across dry grass. "What does that mean?" he asked, struggling to push himself up onto an elbow. The silver-skinned woman's grip tightened on her bow. "It means," the elder said slowly, "by ancient law you are now bound to her." Silence fell thick and absolute. He stared up at the warrior in disbelief. "Bound how?" Her jaw tightened. "Do not say it," she warned the elder. But she already knew the answer. "You are now her husband." The woman snapped her gaze back to him, pure rage burning behind her eyes. "I will never accept this," she said, her voice trembling with fury and something far deeper. "I will destroy you before that happens." He swallowed, heart racing. "Then," he muttered, "I guess we should change the wedding plans." But no one laughed, because the first challenge had already begun. They didn't drag him. That surprised him. Instead, they walked him through the valley as if he were already part of some unspoken ceremony. Warriors lined the path on both sides, their expressions unreadable, their weapons silent. The air rippled with heat and tension. She walked ahead of him, always just a few steps, close enough to protect him from the others, close enough to cut him down if he tried anything foolish. "You walk like someone who expects rescue," she finally said without turning around. "I walk like someone who refuses to die on unfamiliar soil," he answered. "There's a difference. On this world, that difference means nothing." They stopped at the edge of a jagged canyon. Far below, something massive shifted in the darkness. A low, rumbling sound echoed upward. Not the rumble of earth, but of breath. "This is the first trial?" he asked. "It is where the earth remembers violence," she replied, "and where fear becomes visible." A stone pillar rose from the canyon's edge. At its center lay a weapon, primitive, heavy, carved from the spine of a massive creature. "You will descend alone," the elder said. "Retrieve what the canyon guards. Return alive. Only then will we consider that you deserve another sunrise." "And the alternative?" he asked. The silver-skinned warrior finally faced him. Her voice dropped, intimate, almost regretful. You will become part of the canyon. He exhaled slowly as he took the weapon. Well, I've always wanted to leave a legacy somewhere. That earned him the faintest flicker in her eyes. A moment that disappeared as fast as it came. He climbed down. The walls closed around him, swallowing the light. Every surface was scorched, carved by claws and something far older than memory. His breathing sounded too loud. Every step felt watched. Then the ground shifted. Slow. Heavy. A creature pulled itself from the stone as if the rock itself had given birth to it. Its body was layered with armor-like plates, each one etched with ancient symbols. No eyes, no mouth, only vibration. It didn't see him, felt him, his fear, his pulse, his breath. Okay, he whispered. We're going to have a calm, respectful conversation. The creature lunged. Instinct took over. He didn't fight its body, he struck the symbols. The patterns glowed, cracked, and the beast screamed without a voice. Above him, the warriors watched in stunned silence as the canyon lit with alien fire. He climbed out moments later, burned, bruised, breathing hard, but alive. She stared at him now. No anger, only disbelief, and something dangerously close to admiration. You should be dead, she said quietly. He looked at the weapon in his hand, then at the blood on his sleeve. I get that a lot, he replied. But clearly fate has terrible aim. Behind her, the elder nodded once. The first trial is complete. But the warrior did not move away from him. Not yet. Not this time. The second trial wasn't hidden in shadow. It lay in the open. A vast, cracked plain stretched before them, wide and empty, like a scar that never healed. The ground shimmered faintly as heat bled upward from beneath the surface, and thin veils of pale vapor drifted between broken pillars of alien stone. This place devours arrogance, the elder warned. It does not kill quickly. It unravels. He glanced down at the cracked earth. Comforting. The woman beside him knelt and pressed her palm to the ground. Her expression tightened. It wakes when it senses footsteps. So we don't walk? He asked. We run. Before he could question that logic, the first tremor passed under his boots. Then another. The fractures around them widened, glowing from within like veins filled with fire. From the depths, long black shapes burst outward, serpentine and sharp, made of molten rock and living shadow. They weren't animals. They were guardians. And they were hungry. Stay with me, she said, already moving. Her hand caught his wrist and dragged him forward at a pace that burned his lungs and tore at his injured ribs. The ground split behind them, swallowing one of the stone pillars whole. Another serpent lunged out, jaws snapping inches from his shoulder. He swung the heavy weapon he carried, shattering part of its obsidian body. It screamed as if the earth itself were in agony. You could have warned me about the ground exploding, he shouted. You would have argued, she fired back, vaulting over a collapsing ledge. Fair point. They reached a narrow stretch of solid ground only to find it blocked by a jagged ravine, deep and crawling with glowing creatures. No bridge, only a thin rock shelf clinging to the cliff wall. You first, she said. I take it back. You don't protect your husband at all. You're still earning that title. He smiled despite the terror and stepped sideways along the ridge. The wall scraped his shoulder, stone crumbled beneath his feet, but somehow he made it across. Halfway through, she slipped. Her hand shot out, catching his arm. For one frozen second, their eyes met. The drop yawning below, death whispering up to them, and he realized something. She wasn't afraid for herself. She was afraid of losing him. Let go, she said quietly, not trusting him to hold her. No, he replied. You let go of me enough already. With a final pull, he hauled her up beside him. This time, she didn't step away. The ground behind them collapsed entirely as the last serpent vanished back into molten darkness. Silence followed. Her breathing was uneven. So was his. You could have dropped me, she said. I'm starting to take this husband thing seriously. A faint, disbelieving laugh left her lips before she could stop it. And for the first time, she didn't hide it. The final trial did not take place in a canyon or across broken land. It waited in silence. At the center of the settlement, an ancient circle of stone had been cleared, dustless, untouched, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The people gathered in a wide ring, torches casting sharp shadows against their tense faces. There were no monsters here, no collapsing ground, only two people. "You stand within the heart circle," the elder announced. "No weapons, no interference, only truth and will. One will step out, one will not." He looked at her. She looked back. This was not anger he saw in her expression now. It was memory, conflict, everything fighting against everything else inside her. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly. "Yes, I do." Her voice carried strength, but it trembled at the edges. "It is not the law I am fighting tonight. It is myself." The world faded away. They moved. No armor, no blades, only instinct and history carved into muscle and bone. She struck fast, but he didn't match force with force. He matched emotion, deflected, turned, redirected. Their bodies spoke in a language older than words. Fear, grief, survival, trust. "You don't belong to this world," she breathed as she pinned him briefly. "Neither do storms," he replied, breathless. "But they still become part of the land they touch." She stilled. That heartbeat of hesitation was all it took. He moved, not to hurt her, not to overpower her, but to embrace the moment between them. His arm caught hers. His other steadied her waist. The crowd gasped as he pulled her close, their foreheads nearly touching. "End it," she whispered. "Prove your victory." "Victory? Over what?" he murmured. "Over you? Or over the pain that taught you to hate me?" Her breath trembled. The entire world held still. Slowly, she lowered her hand. "I do not yield because I am defeated," she said, loud enough for all to hear. "I yield because I choose him." A ripple of awe rolled through the circle. The elder stepped forward, eyes shining. "Then the bond is sealed not by blood, but by will." Silence broke into a deep, resounding cheer, but he didn't hear it. All he heard was her voice, softer now, meant only for him. "You were not meant to survive my arrow." He smiled faintly. "Then I'm glad destiny has horrible aim." Her hand slid into his, and the world at last felt stable. Not because the danger had disappeared, but because, together, they had learned how to face it. What began as an act of violence became a bond stronger than law. On a world built by war, two enemies chose something no one expected: understanding. And in doing so, they didn't just change each other, they changed an entire world.